What is good? What's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Federus Muthana, and welcome to another great edition of Good Friends, Better Rivals. This week, we'll be talking about 2 weeks because our teams played on Thursday, Thanksgiving. Oh, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I didn't, but it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about the people. But we're also going to talk about the previous week as well, where one of us came off of a victory, a surprising victory. I think we can say. And then one of us got beat down by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which wasn't so surprising to say. And then they faced again. We faced each other both on Thursday nights.
Yes.
So the New York Giants. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about it right away because it was the game that happened yesterday. The New York Giants faced the Dallas Cowboys for the second time this season, and they lost. They lost about a score again. 27-20. The New York Giants had a good opening drive, and then that was it. They did nothing else. Absolutely nothing. Because I think, Caleb, let's get right into the game. Because I know you're probably eating some turkey, some mashed potatoes.
I don't eat turkey.
You don't eat. Well, I thought, isn't this the week you stopped being vegan?
I spent that on when I went to Texas.
Oh, yeah. You spent that on when you went to the Texas Oklahoma game. Oh, that's true. Good point. So yeah, why are you eating your tofu turkey?
I did not eat tofu turkey.
What did you eat then, bro?
The sides, man. I eat the sides.
You only eat the sides?
Yes.
So you telling me Leo was like, here, Caleb, here's some stuffing.
No, I can't eat stuffing either. That has meat in it.
No, I think stuffing is what you put in the turkey.
Yeah, stuffing has meat though.
So you put more meat in the turkey?
Pause.
Yes. So you just eat the dressing. You don't eat, okay, then so you eat mashed potatoes then?
Well, there's other stuff besides mashed potatoes.
Okay, so mashed potatoes. Did you eat pie? You probably had some pie.
I had cake. Some cake.
You had cake? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yo, man, your plate must suck on Thanksgiving, bro.
It was just sides.
Just sides?
Yeah.
Corn? You ate corn?
Yeah, I ate corn.
Macaroni and you can't eat macaroni and cheese.
I can.
If they make it vegan, but that's not gonna happen. Because you're the only one. Majority rules. But outside of the depressing plate Caleb makes, he was very happy that day. The country wasn't, because they declared that this game would be the game.
The country actually was. It was the highest rated NFL game of the year.
Yeah, of course it is, Caleb. You know why? Because the New York Giants participated in it.
I don't think
hasn't it occurred to anybody? 2 of the highest rated games in NFL history. You know what they have in common, Caleb? In history, regular season games in history. You know what they have in common, Caleb?
I just know that number 1 is the Cowboys, so that's all.
No, it's not. It's yes. 1 and 2.
The number 1 is Cowboys.
No, the 1 and 2 involve the New York Giants.
But the number 1 is Cowboys.
No, because of us, not because of you, because of us. Because of us. No, remember that. Because we were number 1 with the Niners for years. You never broke that record. Ever. You never broke that record. It was Giants, Niners.
We always get the highest rated
game. But you never were the highest rated game ever. That was us.
Well, we do it every year.
That was us.
We do it every year.
And you know what? You break records when we're involved because you're welcome. You're welcome. And on that note, you're welcome because apparently, let's break it down, Caleb. I'm gonna tell you something about Caleb. Whatever, Leo, man, America's team, get out of here, man. That's marketing nonsense. All right. You know what? They are America's team. You're right, Leo. You're right. They are America's team. They're America's team. Living on past glories, okay with being mediocre. Fine. You know what I mean? Of course, we're arguing about ratings.
Well, we can't talk about the records.
Our team sucks, man. Our team sucks. We can't argue about anything. We can't. Let's be real. Cowboys beat the Giants. Who gives a shit? They still suck.
I mean, I give a shit a little bit.
Okay, you give a shit, but they still suck because we worse.
Yeah.
Okay, let's break it down, Caleb. I think you can agree with me. Everything the Cowboys can't do, they can do to the Giants.
Yeah, it's crazy that we can run the ball. We run the ball. 100-yard rushing game in 2 years.
So that's the Giants. So you guys can run the ball. You guys can win at home. You guys can stop the run. And you guys can score off of turnovers. The 4 things this year you could never do. You were 0-6 before yesterday. But against the New York Giants, you could do everything. That's how bad this New York Giants team is. This is how horrible this organization is.
Mozzie Smith looks like a freaking all-star against you guys, and he's a terrible player.
Everything you talk about, Caleb, that you can't do weekly. When the Giants come around, you guys can do it. Run the ball, stop the run, scoring off turnovers. The Giants, how does John Mara look at himself at night? How does he look at himself at night knowing that Jerry Jones and Jeffrey Lurie, the Eagles owner, and Josh Harris, the new Commanders owner, how does he look himself at night knowing that you are the laughing stock of this historic division? You are a laughing stock. Get sacks. You guys got a lot of sacks, finally. Makes sense, though, because the Giants suck. Like, how do you look at yourself at night knowing that you are the laughing stock? The Commanders are no longer the laughing stock. John Mara always hung his hat on that, like, at least I'm not Dan Snyder. At least I'm not Dan Snyder. But guess what? He's gone. You are fourth. Your team is fourth. Screw the Cowboys, because the Cowboys suck. You suck. It doesn't matter. We both stunk. Why even talk about this game? Because this game sucked. It sucked.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Well, one of us did. John Mara needs to fire everybody. I want everyone gone, because when you look at this team, this GM does not know how to set up this team. You whiffed on 2 top 10 picks, Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau. When you're a top 5 pick in Kayvon Thibodeau, I was a big Tibbs fan. I loved him at Oregon. Number 1 recruit in the nation. I knew all about this kid. He hasn't panned out. When you're a top 5 pick, Caleb, and you're a defensive end, domination. That's what's expected of you. Domination.
Like Micah Parsons did.
Like Micah Parsons did. Domination. Literally. That's what you expect. He's just another guy. They wouldn't have traded for Brian Burns if he was the guy. They wouldn't have went out there and traded for and had to pay Brian Burns $187 million if you were the guy. They have no faith in you. They're done with you. Evan Neal, guard. He's not a tackle. Prime example, the man, Michael Parsons, just took 1 step left, and the guy was like this. That's what he was. You know what play I'm talking about, Caleb. You know what play I'm talking about. You know which one. Cannot handle speed rushers. Slow. Can't do it. He's a guard. Move him inside. The tackle experiment's over. You move him inside. That's what happened with Eric Flowers, Caleb. He was a horrible, horrible tackle. Then he was put as a guard in Washington, and he was serviceable. He was good. Good's a stretch. He was average. He was fine. He was a good piece. Drew Lock, people be like, oh, Drew Lock, man. People like, Drew Lock. Drew Lock sucks.
But I gotta say, I was worried when I heard that Tommy DeVito was not going to play for this game. I was more looking forward to playing Tommy DeVito more than Drew Lock. But Lock got the start, and it was the one thing I was worried about was him taking off like he did. I mean, on those 2 rushing touchdowns that he got, we made him look like Michael Vick out there. Like, we could not tackle this guy at all. So that was obviously the first drive that you guys had was embarrassing. The defense looked really bad. But I think that's where Zimmer has looked better. Coaching this defense is making adjustments. I think he did that 2 weeks in a row now, where he's made adjustments when we haven't looked so good at times. It's partly due to because we're getting some guys back. Obviously we have Michael Parsons back. We have Deron Bland back. And so we're just getting a little bit more healthy throughout the year. And Mike Zimmer is coaching. And I guess, obviously he had his struggles earlier in the year. But when he's getting some of his guys back, and hopefully we get Diggs back next week, and so we can finally because we never had Diggs and Bland on the field all this season. Now that we can get him maybe on the defense at the same time, our
Diggs wasn't playing
better and better. What's that?
Diggs wasn't playing.
Who was playing?
Trayvon Diggs wasn't playing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we finally get them back
on
the field together, our defense is just going to look better and better.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, man, like, what can I say about the Giants? They suck. The defense, we want to speak about bad tackling, Caleb. They couldn't tackle all game. No tackling. Like zero tackle. I don't understand.
I mean, Rico Dowdle was breaking tackles like crazy.
Like, what? Okereke has been bad these past 2 weeks. Caleb, I think in the first half they had 12 missed tackles. Then they ended up with like 20 or something. Like they're a bad defense. They're a bad team. And I'm sorry. They need to be fired. You cannot trust this GM to draft his quarterback when he can't draft any other position. I went back looking at the drafts before this year, because I believe this year he hit on 3 picks. Drew Phillips, Tyler Nubin, Malik Neighbors, I'll throw in Theo Johnson. 4 picks. He hit on 4 picks. But the previous draft, I need a refresher, bro. I need a refresher. I need a refresher because I can't, not off the top of my head. I can't.
Didn't you go over this last week?
I think I did.
Yeah, so people know them.
Yeah, the people know them. 2 drafts, 3 drafts, 5 hits. 5 hits. 3 drafts, 5 hits. And one of them is a hit because you drafted him in the 5th round and you don't expect nobody to do anything from the 5th round. Plus, the tight end you drafted the first time around, you've relegated him to an H-back role. Even though he was your best kind of receiver his rookie year, because he was the key, he was the key to the team. I thought, you cannot trust this GM to find his quarterback if you can't find nobody else. Malik Neighbors he can be a great player. But the more I've talked about this, or the more I've seen, because every time Saquon Barkley does something great, Caleb, the first thing that comes out of everybody's mouths, I can't believe the Giants got rid of him. I can't believe it. It's the first thing that comes out of their mouths. But guess what? If you were bringing both back, makes sense. You bring them back. But if you were getting rid of Saquon, you get rid of Daniel Jones and you start all over. Because running back and wide receiver are final pieces. You get the quarterback. You get a good offensive line. Then you get wide receiver, running back. Because, prime example, Caleb, the Detroit Lions. They found their quarterback, Jared Goff. They got their wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then they got Jameson Williams. Okay. Then they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. Everyone laughed at them. It's like, what?
And that's after they traded away DeAndre Swift.
Exactly.
After they
let him
did
walk.
that,
They let him walk. They let him walk.
They let him get,
Exactly. And then they signed David Montgomery. So they signed David Montgomery and got Jahmyr Gibbs. Everyone laughed at them. But they thought to themselves, we're ready. We are a running back away. We're ready right now to compete for a Super Bowl. And guess what, Caleb? For the past 2 years, where have the Lions been in? They are in Super Bowl contention. They should have made the Super Bowl last year. But they blew that 30-point lead against the Niners. It should have been Lions Chiefs, to be honest with you. They drafted a running back. He's the final piece. Saquon sucked. The team sucked with him. They sucked without him. It's, he's a final piece. Running back's a final piece. Every single time people talk about blah, blah, blah. This GM doesn't know how to build a team. That's my point. He needs to be fired. Because you're not going to tell me that you were strong in Saquon's negotiations, but you let Daniel Jones do whatever he wanted in his negotiations. Something ain't right here. And that GM needs to be fired. We need a new GM. Fire them all. I'm sorry to Brian Daboll. You're going to get fired because your GM chose you, and the new GM probably doesn't want you. So you're probably gone as well. And the offensive play scheme has regressed because they got high on their own supply. Because shout out to I think a Giants fan, I don't remember the name, said, the year they made the playoffs, they had one of the easiest schedules in the league because they were a bad team. That's why there's so many worst to first in the NFL because they have bad schedules. They got high on their own supply. They overestimated their team, and they didn't build it right. They didn't. You didn't have to do a full teardown because teams don't do full teardowns anymore like that. Just bits and pieces here. But you failed. You failed. And a lot of people, after Drew Lock had a bad game, kept saying, oh, the QB's not the problem. Well, when your starting quarterback sucks, your backup quarterback sucks, and your third string quarterback sucks, they're all the problem. They all suck. No, like people be like, oh, no QB could survive this in this environment. You don't think Patrick Mahomes would be good playing in New York? We really?
He wouldn't be great. He wouldn't be great.
Really, come on, exactly, bro. Like we saying if the Chiefs gave us Patrick Mahomes right now, you don't think the Giants would be a playoff team? Wild card. I'm not saying like divisional winner. Wild card. You don't think we could fight for a wild card?
I mean, he doesn't look great on the Chiefs right now.
That's a good point.
I mean, they honestly, the Raiders just lost by a fumbled snap.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's how they lose. They were driving. They were almost in field goal range, and then a bad snap. And
the Chiefs got some dark voodoo to them, dog. It's insane. That's some voodoo right there. That's crazy. Yeah, of course. I picked the Chiefs to win, to be honest. But like exactly.
I just won my parlay. Just throwing it there.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Plus 12.5.
Nice. 12.5. That's a big line.
I know. That's why it was like just gold. It was like a gimme.
Oh my
God. There's no way the Chiefs cannot blow anybody out.
Exactly. And Chiefs Raiders, they're actually pretty close games.
Exactly.
The Chiefs win them all.
It's like, oh my God, but just give me the money.
That's whoever did that just gave you a gift.
Yeah. I won all 3 games. All 3. I picked all the Turkey Day games, right?
Nice. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, man, like fire, like, bro, start all over. You gave them 3 years. They didn't fix it. Fire them. When the laughing stock of your division is no longer the laughing stock in the Washington Commanders, everyone used to laugh at them and be like, at least we're not the Commanders. But now the Commanders fans are saying, at least we're not the Giants. Cowboys suck this year, but Cowboys fans are like, at least we're not the Giants. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're that team now. How do you look at yourself in the mirror, John Mara? How do you look yourself in the mirror knowing that you're that team? The team that says, at least we're not them. At least we're not them.
Cowboys are now 15-1 against the Giants since 2016.
Since Dak Prescott's rookie year. 15-1. And the one loss, Dak didn't play.
Yep, that was Andy Dalton.
Exactly. You're losing to Cooper Rush.
No.
I'm sorry, like how do you sit there and say, like, oh my God, I am one of the best, I am one of the most historical brands in the NFL history. And I am a laughingstock. Even though the Cowboys don't win Super Bowls, they're relevant. While I'm a loser. And the Eagles are always, every other year, they'll have a down year, but then they'll match it up with like 7 years of good football, and then a down year, and then 8 years of good football, and then a down year here and there, because their GM knows how to be a GM. Yeah. How do you sit there in your owner's suite and you're watching this unfold?
It all comes down to the quarterback. I mean, Cowboys are like relatively relative because we have Romo and Dak. Mm-hmm. Eagles go from McNabb to Wentz to Hurts, who are all, just, good quarterbacks, and the Giants, and Eli Manning and then nothing.
Say what you want about Eli Manning. 17 years. We didn't have to worry about the quarterback position for 17 years.
You should have moved on from faster.
You could have. You could have done that. I would have. But it happened. And you know why are people defending Daniel Jones? He ain't done nothing to get this defense. You cut him, moving on. Who gives a shit?
I couldn't believe the talk on all the talk shows of like, oh, you disrespected him. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they must. How do you mean mishandle? He mishandled his whole career by sucking.
Something now, bro, and like some of these fans are like, yo, L. Duncan is classless. I'm like, bro, I've heard Giants fans say worse than L. Duncan. Okay. Now we're defending Daniel Jones after we basically called for his head for 40 years. Half of these, like, bro, like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, he's Daniel Jones. He ain't done nothing. It was like they made such a big deal of his cutting and his signing and
Yeah.
like bro, what are we doing, right, bro?
Yeah,
Like,
they act like, oh, he can go this place and resurrect. Like, what are you talking about?
resurrect
He
what?
sucks. He sucks. He's a bad quarterback. Like, what are you talking about?
Bro,
Do we
Todd
not know that
McShay,
just because he get off of the Giants, he's going to somehow become a good quarterback?
bro, Todd McShay said this, bro. When they were talking about Danny Jones, when we got drafted 6 overall. Todd McShay is all right. So like like they say he has some like physical gifts. You know, he can run, he's mobile, he's good. But he said the biggest problem with him is processing speed. He's slow to read defenses. And that was the problem. He overthinks and he's slow to process. That's what everything is slow motion for him. In a bad way. Not a good way, in a bad way. It's whatever, man. It's whatever, man. All right, man. We got our asses beat by the Buccaneers. Ain't nothing really to talk about that match. We sucked. The Buccaneers ran all over us. Bucky Irving punched us in the mouth. And he's like, that's what happened. That's what happened. Bro, like ain't nothing special. Multiple fumbles, delayed drives. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like we stink. We stink. Talk about your miracle win, your back-to-back wins, you have a 2-game win streak, Caleb. Break it down for me, man.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there were miracle wins. I think our defense,
not miracle wins. You're yeah, you're right. Good point.
It was mostly because of our defense. Our offense, I mean, our offense still sucks. I mean, it's terrible, and it's basically due to Cooper Rush not being very good.
Yeah.
You know,
Fighting Chippewa, Cooper Rush.
He doesn't turn over the ball too unless he's like fumbling and like fumble snaps. He does do that. But as far as like throwing like just awful passes into interceptions, which some of them might turn into, but otherwise you shouldn't be throwing that much anyways. Like, why are we throwing so many times in both the games, the Commanders game and the Giants game? He's throwing over 30 times. Why are we doing that? Like, what kind of play calling is that? We're giving our backup quarterback just pass it all over all the time. Like, that's just not smart. We should be running more, especially when you just saw Rico Dowdle do as well as he did. Give him the ball more. And even the most interesting thing, Dowdle's had 2 good back-to-back weeks, and that's without Zach Martin being there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's a little indictment of how, you know, Zach Martin has regressed this year. That
you don't need him anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he has not been good this year, and his replacement, we look better in the run game. And we've had both guards. We had in the Commanders game, we had both guards out. Mm-hmm. Both Tyler and Zach were out, and we looked pretty damn good running the ball. You know, Tyler Guyton's been out in that game against the Giants, and his replacement looked better. Like, the backup offensive line looked better than the starters, at least in these past 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Giants, did the Giants get a sack at all?
I don't think so. Probably one, but let me double check.
Yeah, I think the Washington only had one when we played the Commanders. So offensive line, both rushing and passing.
0.
Yeah. So both rushing and passing blocking, our backups have been doing pretty good for the past 2 weeks. And I think that's been the change in why we have been more successful a little more successful. Again, our offense still sucks majorly due to play calling and, you know, just not having good talent on that side. But we've been a little more successful scoring due to just having better blocking. And if we have good blocking, we can score some points. And I think you saw that in these past 2 weeks. Um, Obviously, the Commanders game we won largely due to our special teams. Like there was some fluky special teams. That was a crazy
Juan A.
game.
Thomas.
Couldn't believe we won that game. Kavonte Turpin takes one back. It has an amazing spin move um, on that kick return for a touchdown. But then our defense plays so well the entire game, and all of a sudden we play a stupid like prevent defense and gets Terry McLaurin wide open on the sideline,
If
and then
you
he just
are
goes for a
frequent
touchdown.
watchers of this podcast, we are anti-prevent defense.
Yeah,
Very anti.
yeah. I just don't understand why we were playing so off coverage. Just play them normally. And if you just play a normal coverage and you're playing on them, if they beat you, then they beat you. You know, at least it's not some stupid ass wild play that just everybody's playing off and he has a wide open. He can gain speed. I think that's the biggest thing when they catch it short like that. They gain speed when they take off more than if you just play them right there and you're playing tight coverage on them.
Mm-hmm.
But so that was stupid, and then you have all the back and forth kick returns, and then they do an onside, and we return that for a touchdown. So it's like it was a back and forth at the end there. For larger parts of the game, it was pretty low scoring, as you know most of our games are. Because like I said, our offense is not very good. Um, but positive things for the defense. That's all I can talk about because our Josh Butler, who did get hurt for the season, I think he tore his ACL in the Giants game. He had a really good game against the Commanders. He played really well in that game. He was
10
having a good
tackles.
game. Yeah, he was having a good game against the Giants, and then he just had that unfortunate injury. Like I said, we need to get Trayvon Diggs back so we can have Blandon Diggs out there. And then obviously we have Wanye Thomas also get hurt. I think it's for a couple weeks. So yeah, big hits to the secondary as we've had big injuries on the secondary all season. But as far as all I can talk about in the Giants game, DeMarvin Overshown has been
What a
amazing.
phenomenal player.
Yeah, he's been great. That was a great draft pick. Probably only shining draft pick in that draft class last year. Yeah, this is what we were missing.
He's basically a rookie. He's basically a rookie.
I wish we had him last year. Maybe it made a difference on our defense. Maybe it didn't. But he's making a difference now. Keeping us in games with a great, obviously tips it to himself, runs for a touchdown. That was great. And that's how we're scoring. I mean, that's pretty much how we're winning. We're winning on special teams, scoring on defense.
Before the tip, he engages the running back, and he kind of, Devin Singletary really doesn't do much to stop him. He initiates the contact, and he basically kind of destroys Devin Singletary. And Singletary like slips out, but he doesn't slip out enough. And then you see him tip the ball and score the touchdown. Yeah, it was just a great play by him overall.
Yeah, and that's how we've been scoring on these wild, crazy plays like that. Because our offense can't get going sometimes, and it feels stagnant. We have to the other special team, whether it's special teams or defense, has to step up and try to score for us because it's been a struggle. And that's what we got to win if we're gonna do anything. We're not mathematically out of it. We're back in that graphic that they show where they have the playoff hunt. We're back in that graphic. So we still got a tiny bit of hope. We're not mathematically out of it.
There's still a chance. There's still a chance.
Small, slim, but we do play. The Commanders obviously have that last 7 seed wild card spot, and we do play them again. We play them the last game of the season, and we just showed that we could beat them.
Absolutely.
If we can when we don't have a totally tough schedule, we play the Bengals, who not very good right now.
Yeah, they're iffy.
Play the Panthers, the Bucks, all have losing records.
The NFC South.
Yeah. So yeah, our schedule is not fair. Our one tough game is obviously the Eagles. Hopefully, they have the division wrapped up by then.
They rest people.
Yeah, it's the second to last game. So hopefully they have everything wrapped up and they don't really have much to play for. They maybe take it easy on us in that game, and maybe we can make a run. Maybe it's gonna be. I'm not saying but there's a tiny slim chance that we could. With the road that we see ahead of us is not that tough.
Yeah, pretty much, Caleb. But we've talked about this ad nauseum. Team sucks.
Yeah,
I'm sad. Fire everybody. And on that note, this is for you.
We'll say one thing right now. How about them Cowboys?
It's the one time you play it properly.
Yeah. Wow, what do you mean the one time I play it properly? What do you mean?
You always play it when we're losing.
I know, because it's fun.
No, it's not fun.
It is fun.
Buccaneers game wasn't fun.
No, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun.
And
it wasn't fun.
Everybody said you guys gave up.
They did. They did. Hey man, don't talk. Hey man, you better watch yourself, Mr. Veggie Plate. Get out of my face. All right? Go eat some corn.
I will eat some corn.
Yeah, you will eat some. Shout out to Leo for telling us you eat corn. Shout out to you. Shout out to Adelia. Shout out to Derek arguing about ratings instead of records. Exactly. Shout out to Brodney. What's up, everybody? How you doing, Brodney? Shout out to Davon. Shout out to Rico getting back in the books. Uncle Rico. He's not like Uncle Rico because he doesn't talk about the past. He talks about the present. I said that when I was commentating the game. I said that. So shout out to you, Rico. But yeah, man. I guess let's preview next week. I guess
we can preview it on Friday. We'll have nothing unless you don't want to do a show on Friday.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Because we don't play Sunday. You're right about that. But yeah. Okay, then we're done. Yeah, we're done. Yeah, it's gonna be a great week of college football this week. Texas A&M is this week.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's the biggest game of the weekend.
Yeah, it's big. Well, let's calm it down here, man.
That's the biggest game of the weekend.
No, it's not.
What do you mean? No, it's not.
Well, yeah, it is. Playoff implications. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it's the biggest game of the weekend. That's the Texas showdown right there.
Yeah. So yeah, Texas A&M is back after what? 10 years of dormants? 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years? 13, something like that? I don't know. It's like I think 10 to 11 years. So shout out to Texas A&M. They're rich as hell, but they still suck. So I don't understand how that's possible. Did you know they're richer than Texas?
Probably. I mean, they got the same type of, donors type of.
Yeah. How, yo, man,
guys. I mean,
bro,
they got the same type of.
You know what, man? Shout out to Pony XS. Let me tell you what, bro.
Texas is just a bigger brand.
No, you know what's crazy too about that, right? So when you remember watching, okay, we're done talking about the NFL because our teams suck. Remember, so on Pony XS, right, where they talk about how the reason the teams in the Southwest Conference were spending money and becoming good is that their alums were all working in Dallas. So all the alums from the schools were like Texas A&M, TCU, Baylor, SMU, they're all working in Dallas. And then you didn't want to be the worker from the school that lost that week. You know what I mean? It's like when SMU was against Texas, the SMU people didn't want to come to work on Monday having to hear the Texas alums chirp. They didn't want that. So they put money into the schools properly, and they won games. Shout to SMU, baby. The SMU's back, Caleb. They're back.
Yeah, they're back.
They're back.
It's been a long time.
Been a long time.
That's another thing. They were kind of a similar situation as Texas A&M. I mean, what was stopping them from being as good as they are currently right now? I mean,
sanctions. Penalties.
Well, yeah, but the sanctions were so long ago. I mean, it's been years.
Yeah, Caleb. So Caleb, here's what happened, right? So they get the death penalty.
Yeah.
And then they get kicked out of the Southwest Conference. So they basically get kicked out.
Yeah.
So then they don't join the Big 12. And then they were sent to a lower conference. And they had to survive in a lower conference. And then
they should have been dominating that conference every year.
Yeah, but Caleb, here's the thing. basically they were told that you can only play walk-ons. They had 5 scholarship players. They were cut off. They couldn't be on TV. So TV was out. So imagine you're recruiting kids and you're telling them, "Oh yeah, I only got like 10 or 5 scholarships and you're not going to be on TV for 3 years." It sets you back.
Yeah, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, I know. And they're coming back finally.
Finally.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Cuz they were creating a historical lineage and then it was cut. It was cut. You know what I mean? They weren't allowed to invite those players back either because they had the stink on them. Like Eric Dickerson didn't show up to SMU games because he couldn't really. Craig James, Steve McAleen, Ron Meyer, the guys who did all the money and stuff, they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't come back and help because they couldn't, you know? So if they were still popping and they joined the Big 12 with Oklahoma and Texas, probably, you know, they would be good. But, you know, they're back. Shout out to SMU, Rhett Lashley, Kevin Jennings. Go to the Ponies. Pony Express, baby. Coming back. But yeah, they can win the ACC and they can make it to the playoff.
No.
And Texas A&M beats Texas. There's a chance Texas doesn't make the.
No, there's no chance. There's literally like 98% chance they're gonna make the playoff.
But what if they don't?
Doesn't matter. Actually, it doesn't really matter because they lose, but their record's still gonna be enough where they're gonna be in the top 12.
Yeah, but they can't make the SEC championship, right? That'd be 2 losses then, right? To Georgia and Texas A&M.
The SEC championship, but they'll still be as a, you know,
like a wild card team.
Year. Yeah.
Because it's the guaranteed 5 champions. The guaranteed 5 champions. The top 4 champions plus the group of 5 champion. If they're higher than 2 of the other big 5 champions, they're the top 4 seed. So Texas, 5 slots. If they don't make the SEC championship game, 5 slots are already, you know, in there. Ohio State's probably gonna be in there.
There is a chance that UNLV could be in there because
if they beat Boise State.
Yeah, if they beat Boise State, will win the Mountain West Championship.
And if they're the highest rated group of 5 champion,
they're number 23 right now.
Where's Tulane? Because I think Tulane. ESPN, CFB.
And if obviously we have to beat Nevada tomorrow. We beat Boise State next week. Then that means they'll definitely move up. They'll definitely move up in the rankings.
Okay, you said where'd you say you were? 21?
Like 23.
You're 22. You're 22. So you're 22. No. See, here's the thing. If Tulane wins their conference, they're above you.
Well, it depends on how much they value the Boise State win.
That's true. Because Tulane
Boise State's highly ranked.
Yeah, because Tulane is 17. It's 17. And I think the Boise State win would be extremely high valued because Boise State only has 1 loss, and that loss is to Oregon. So there's that. So they are projected in the first round buys Boise State, Texas, Oregon, Miami, because they're the top 4 champions. The group of 5 champion plus the other 4 conferences in the Big 10, SEC, ACC, and the Big 12. Arizona State can make it. If Arizona State, them in Colorado and Kansas State they're still there. My biggest issue is Penn State. I hate Penn State so much. They're such an overrated. They're so overrated. It pisses me off. But on that note, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Also join our coffee page, ko-fi.com/LGR_network. We have a multitude of tiers. You can make a one-time monthly donation or join a tier of your choice. They range from $3 to $25. You pick the right tier for you, and we appreciate your support. Caleb, where can people find you, my man?
You can find me at NFL22 on Instagram and Twitter/X. You can find me on this channel, winning you guys some money because I have been on an amazing hot streak. I've been 15-5 for the past 4 weeks. One of my hottest streaks I've ever been on. Winning you guys. I just won money today with my bets on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So I'm just winning money all over the place. Okay, so if you guys like winning money, go watch the show is up on the channel right now. Go watch it. Win yourself some money.
Because there's still the Thanksgiving games are over. For the Sunday night games, guys, go make the money, guys. Go make that money. Everyone, thank you guys for news. My name is Ferris Muthana. You can find me at Ferris Muthana on X, _Ferris_Muthana on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky as well. I think Ferris Muthana on Blue Sky, I think. You can find me here every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific. We're back to our normal time where we just commiserate the NFL season. But watch out, guys. We're gonna be doing some new type of videos in the coming weeks because technically we're already in the off season. Our teams suck. It doesn't matter. Caleb's team could possibly still make the playoffs, but my team is already out of it.
Possibly.
You have a possible. It's possible. You have a possible. It's possibly. But on that note, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us.
The Giants are the only team eliminated.
Yeah, we are apparently, which was I found that out yesterday, which was funny.
Yeah,
the Jaguars are still apparently still in it mathematically.
Well, I think the NFC is better than the AFC right now.
Well, according to our Ravens fans, the NFC isn't as good as the AFC.
I was not. We have the better records.
I'm just saying, that's what
I mean, the top 6 seeds are like basically already locked up.
Yeah, it is what it is. But on that note, they probably still be on that because apparently the Chiefs have won them the Super Bowl the past couple years. So the AFC has got the Super Bowl champion multiple years.
We have the best playing teams. We got the Lions and the Eagles who are playing the best football right now.
It's true. Ravens, Eagles. Is it this week?
Yes, this week.
Monday?
Sunday?
Yeah. Hey man, shout out to Mikey, OTR Mike. His wife's an Eagles fan. So that's gonna be an experience for him. I forgot she was an Eagles fan until I watched that Thanksgiving show and I was taken aback. I was like, oh damn. She was very nice, Mike's wife. Very, very hospitable. We were in his house. She was very hospitable. I finally met a nice Eagles fan. Because most of them suck. People. Sure, we'll go with that as well. But on that note, everyone, have a wonderful day. See you guys next time. Peace.